This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 179, Spider-Man 2 from 2004. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
We are continuing the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Now we're up to the second sequel here. Nate, how long has it been since you've seen Spider-Man 2?
Actually, not as long as it's been since Spider-Man 1, but I don't remember last time I watched it prior to this. Been a minute, a few years. I'll just go with a few years. I don't know, give or take 5. We'll say 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did the watch last year. So for me, this is kind of fresh, but it was cool rewatching it in a review mindset, like I said last week. But with that said, I would like to say is, can this be considered one of the best Spider-Man live action movies ever created? Now, that's the question that we have here today. We're going to tell you guys if it's actually true, if it is. Now, with that said, let's see if the critics and the audience agree with that statement with the Rotten Tomato scores. Nate.
Well, this one does beat the first one in both, actually. So the critic score on the first one was 90%. The critic score on Spider-Man 2 is 93%. So a little bit better reviews, but a big step up in audience scores. Now, we were a little surprised last week. Spider-Man 1 had a 67% audience score. This one has an 82% audience score. So critics seem to review it better. Audiences also seem to review it better. And I remember it made a lot of money, too. More than part 1, from what I remember. So the numbers say it might be, but we are going to tell you if we think it's better or not. But yeah, the Rotten Tomato scores are up. They're going up here.
Well, this one shot up by, if I did the math right, it shot up by 15%.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's like that's a nice jump from the 60s to the 80s. Is yeah. So
not many
audiences seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, not many sequels jump up that much in percentage, especially when we did 100. We did 179. Not many jumped, except for the Bournes. For some reason, they just shot up. It was one of those anomalies of action movies.
Yeah, bizarro.
Yeah, all right, so let's get right into it because I know you want to talk about it. Let's start off with the lead character, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, returning for his second sequel.
All right, I'll be honest. I like Tobey Maguire again. I said in the first one, I gave him a 4 because I liked his Peter Parker. I didn't like his Spider-Man as much. Most of that still rings true for me, but I do like the whole character better in this film than I do in the first film. Maybe it's because we got all of the origin stuff out of the way, and now they can really sort of dig into Peter Parker's life. Obviously, he's not in high school anymore, which again was a missed opportunity. That it's a high school character, and he was barely in high school, but he's in college. He's struggling with school. He's struggling with being Spider-Man, and it's starting to affect every single other area of his life. He's missing class. He's losing jobs. He's losing the girl. He's losing his friend. Aunt May it's so much. He's so worried about being Spider-Man, and so I think the whole arc in this story I find a lot better or more interesting for him. Yeah. I actually bumped him up in this one. I gave him a 5. I think this is a better iteration overall of Spider-Man than the first movie. Don't get me wrong. The first one's good, and this is similar. It's in line, but it's just he deals with more stuff besides just learning the powers. You know what I mean? And I think once you kind of and I know I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one of the strengths of the Tom Holland movies is he has the powers. There is no origin movie. Yeah. So every storyline is just him dealing with other stuff. And I like that. I like that in this one, he's dealing with the romance with MJ, which I think is way better in this movie than it is in the first movie. Their whole interactions are much better. The whole stuff with Harry is much better than the first movie. The relationship to the villain is really cool in this one. So yeah, I gave him a 5. I really like him in this one.
Yeah, it's funny. I agree with you. I gave it a 5 too. I think in this one has more of a lot of subplots towards Peter. And it's cool because it's Peter and then Spider-Man. So it was pretty much both his identity and his secret. I mean, his Spider-Man and his secret identity is getting affected with everything. And you could see the toll that it was taking on him. It worked very well. I think Tobey Maguire did a great job here. Look, I gave him a 5 in the first one too. I mean, that's the foundation that was built on. And this is what you wanted in a sequel. And you got it. To be honest with you, I kind of liked every dynamic that they went. even with his interaction with the villain, which we're going to talk about in the next segment here. But I think everything that lined up with Peter Parker here kind of worked. I liked the only thing with the MJ, it was a little weird for me because she slept with Harry. I mean, we don't know she slept with Harry, but she was with Harry. And then she's with Peter. And then it was just one of those weird dynamics. I was just like, that's a weird triangle of love here that for me was weird. But it kind of worked. And I liked one of the things that I did like. We got a little Star Wars here where he talked to Uncle Ben. He was like,
yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And then when he told Aunt May the truth, what happened, you kind of felt it in the scene. She didn't want to talk to him, which I don't blame him. Like, you know.
Man.
Yeah, she didn't even know. She was really pissed. And the struggles of Aunt May, we didn't even talk about that. She lost her house. They foreclosed. And again, Spider-Man, the cool thing about Spider-Man, what a lot of people relate to, it's just like Batman. People relate to Batman because he's a human as a superhero. The difference here is he's not a billionaire. He's not wealthy. And he's just a kid. Now he's in college now. So he has no money to even support his grandmother. So it has a lot of human elements there. Like, it's not dark and eerie and like what we get with the DC movies now. But I think it works very well. Sam Raimi, I'm telling you, Sam Raimi does a very good job with these movies. For some reason, I kind of like him a lot. So I give it a 5. Let's get to my man Doc Ock, main villain.
Listen, these first two movies both knock it out of the park with the villains. Doc Ock is, to me, as good as a villain as Green Goblin was in the first movie. Now, Willem Dafoe, a bigger performance, we'll say, like kind of more theatrical and over the top. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock plays it, he's like a scientist, but he's like a real kind of like humble guy at first. Then these limbs kind of, when he gets electrocuted, the chip goes out and they kind of start influencing his decisions and, he's like, I don't rob banks. And then they make him rob a bank and all this kind of stuff. A 5. I give him a 5. I think he's a great villain. He, and also they picked very wisely. They picked 2 of like the most famous Spider-Man villains for the first 2 films. And I think that was a great choice. Sometimes these movies will go with like a more obscure villain and build up to the big one. And that's okay too. But I like that they just came out swinging with 2 of the biggest Spider-Man movies right out the gate. It reminds me of Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman movies. They came right out with Joker, first movie. We're not playing games. And the second movie, Catwoman, one of the most iconic characters in there, the Penguin. Spider-Man to me has the best rogues gallery of the Marvel universe, just how Batman does of the DC universe. So I like that they came out with 2 strong ones. I thought Alfred Molina's performance was really good. I like the switch from like the nice, humble scientist to like the villainous. He's not too over the top. He plays it a little more, understated, but still great. And I like the way they did the tentacles because that's not super easy to pull off. But I think Raimi did a good job in the way they look, the way they acted. 2 of them looked a little different than the other 2. They had like almost like snake. They were like snakes, almost like with their own personalities. And yeah, I thought he was great. I gave him a 5 as well. I have no problem with the villain in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, you said everything. Honestly, I gave it a 5 also. He was great. I love the chemistry between him and Tobey Maguire. It felt like 2 geniuses talking to each other when he was not Doc Ock. And if you play the video games, it's the same way. You see their interaction the same way. They are friends, and then he becomes evil and he doesn't know him or whatever. But I thought it worked very well. It felt like a comic book movie. This one compared, like I always say, Justice League is ripped out of but that's a graphic novel. This is like ripped out of a comic book, like a comic book, and I loved it. I thought it was very good, the colorful, and again, I love the Sam Raimi's color palette for this one because it worked very well. It felt like a Spider-Man with the colors like all out, and you're right. Doc Ock's like his tentacles were awesome. It felt cool. Like when it picked him up, it felt like it picked him up. And you're like, holy shit. My favorite scene with Doc Ock, I know a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be the fight. It's not the fighting. My favorite scene is when he's in the operating room. And
the hospital scene?
And the technicals start to wake up. Because if you could tell Sam Raimi's bread and butter is horror movies. And this was like ripped out of an 80s horror movie with the shadows and you just see the hand ripping the person. I love when he grabbed the one with dude picked up a knife and he grabbed it and threw him into the electricity. I laughed my ass off. And then he picked up the chainsaw, which everyone knows Ash is chainsaw. So that was like a significant scene. I liked it. Loved it a lot. I get a fight. Alfred Molina, that's his name?
Alfred Molina, yeah.
Amazing, dude. The only thing I wish they never killed him. I wish they put him in a cage or something.
That's the thing. Like, both of these Spider-Man, they kill, like, the villain dies. Like, he's not putting them in jail. He's not putting them in no mental institution. Like, he kills them. Well, he didn't kill neither one, technically. They killed themselves. But at least he sacrificed himself. Unlike Green Goblin, who was literally trying to kill Peter Parker, and he just jumped out of the way, pretty much.
No. I mean, you're right. So, I mean, with that, but again, little Easter eggs here, because these deaths come down the line to another movie that comes. True. So we will talk about that later down the line. But for me, the only thing that hurt was the fact that they killed him, just like the Joker did in '89. So anyway, with that said, action scenes.
All right. Now, I agree, though. I think the hospital scene is really good. It is definitely very Sam Raimi. I like it, but because I'm a horror fan, but it doesn't feel like it's in the same movie as the rest of the movie. Like, it literally feels like a horror movie scene that got dropped into this movie. So it is really cool. This is a series where, for me, the action is never at a 5 level to me. It stays at a pretty steady 4, and this one's no different. I gave it a 4. I think it's good. I do think this action is better than the first one. You remember we talked about some of the fight scene, like the first one, he first fights Green Goblin. Like, it's not that cool. Like, he throws a punch and Green Goblin grabs his hand and then kicks him. And it's like very basic and like very, not exciting. This one, like, his first encounter with Doc Ock is way better when he's on the building and they're going up the building. The bank robbery scene's really good. The hospital scene's really good. But the train scene is the best scene as far as action is concerned in this movie. Like, that train scene where they're fighting on the train and in the train and through the train and around the train. And I think it is really, really good. It's the strongest part of the movie. The way he stops the train. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I think that scene alone is really, really, really well executed. I'm going to bump it up half. It's still not a 5 to me because it's nothing revolutionary and it's not nonstop. These movies are very story based, which I appreciate. So this is not like a nonstop action movie. There's 3 main like action scenes, but the train one is really good. So I'm gonna bump it up. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Yeah, look, I agree. I gave it a 4.5. I think the action here is not perfect, but I can see a lot of people saying it's a perfect action here. Yeah. For those enthusiast Spider-Man fans out there.
Yeah.
But for me, there's not much fight, but I kind of like it, but it felt like a Spider-Man though. It felt Spider-Man-y, and I liked it. You're right. The biggest set piece is the train scene. Him fighting Doc, that is the biggest fight. And then, of course, you got the end, but the end was not really it's fight short. Scene. Wasn't a fight scene. He was just there to get Mary Jane, and he threw 2 things, and then the thing went out of whack, and he was like, he told him like a sentence, and he said, and then all of a sudden he was like, "You're right, you're right," and then it went,
"You can't remember your wife. Look, you kill all these people." "Okay, Peter, I'm gonna take it in the water."
Yeah, he goes, "I'll do it." And then he got up and so you're right. So it's not much action, but the action was cool. I would say this with the CGI. You could see the CGI on this one. And it's not
got better from the first movie.
Huh?
It got better from the first movie.
It did get better.
Remember the smoke and the the Green Goblin thing?
It did get better, but not like a 20,000 like enhanced better. But it's okay. It's nitpicking. Right. I'm not gonna go all crazy because you did see it. It's not the Mummy Returns CGI. Don't worry about it. No, that's the worst of this. But my favorite like action scene is when he's talking to Mary Jane and he's telling her, "I can't be with you because, now all of a sudden he's Spider-Man again." So I was like, all right. And he's sitting in the chair and all of a sudden you see the car? I think the car flying towards him and then he grabs her. I like it. Well, before then I liked it because it did another Sam Raimi shots. It did the close up and then it went boom, and zoom in and zoom out. And I was like, I love this stuff. Like, I don't know why. I'm the only one that loves the zooming and non-zooming with the faces.
They did a lot of that in another scene where it's like, it's when Doc Ock is like coming up a building and you hear like the boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And every time it booms, it zooms in. And it zooms over here. And it zooms over here. And it zooms into them. And it was really cool. I agree with you.
No, that was really cool. Scene.
Well, that was before they were talking at the cafe. Because it's like he gets the spider sense at the car. It like kind of comes out of nowhere. And then he grabs her and they flip, which by the way is a great shot too. The slow motion like flip but there's a other scene where they're talking and they're outside and it's like boom, boom, and it's zooming and it's awesome.
It is. It's really good. I always like that. Anyway, that one's good. I like the fight there. But the other one that was pretty cool that I felt was fun was when he first did this experiment and the thing got destroyed, when he slapped him because he got so excited. He's like, it's going to hold. And he's like, no, it's not. And he's like trying to pull the electricity and then he slapped him with the thing. I liked it. I thought it was good, to be really honest with you. But anyway, I gave it a 5. A 4.5. You gave it a 4.5. Storyline.
Oh, 5. This one's a 5 for me. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie, by the way. I'll just come out now. Obviously, a 5, 2 5s, a 4.5, and a 5 already. I think this one, these to me are really broken up. I know we're doing all the Spider-Man movies, but they really are each individual sets of movies. And of the Raimi movies, this one is definitely the cream of the Oreo. You know what I mean? Like, it's in the middle, and it's the cream. It's really, really good. I think, to me, it perfectly piggybacks off of what happened in the first movie. It continues all the story threads, and it really segues to the next movie, especially with Mary Jane and Peter's relationship and with Harry and Peter's relationship. You know what I mean? And that movie, there's other stuff to talk about next week with 3, but I think it does a great job of being a middle part of a trilogy, number 1. I think it's better on every level than part 1, especially story-wise. Like, the relationships are better. I think all the acting was a little bit better to me. Just kind of like you said, I like what you said earlier. Like there's subplots in this, but literally they all involve Peter. Like he feels more like the main character than he did even in the first movie to me. So I really like that. Again, I like the relationship aspect of Mary Jane and Peter in this one. I'll save it for overall because I do have a slight knock with the movie. But the storyline I think is great. The villain setup is great. They have interactions before he's a villain that are really good. Yeah, it's a very much a Peter Parker movie, more so than a Spider-Man movie. But it works to me. Like, it focuses on Peter Parker outside of just being Spider-Man, because there's that stretch where he stops being Spider-Man, remember? So it's, I think it's a great Peter Parker story. And because I think Tobey was a better Peter Parker than Spider-Man, it kind of works for me. So I gave it a 5.
Yeah, it's weird because I was tossing between 4.5 and a 5. But I will say this. I agree with everything you said. I enjoyed all the story plot lines of this movie. I thought it worked very well. It was very well paced. Very well paced. If I had to knock off a little bit of minutes, I would. There were some scenes I would knock out.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not going to put that towards, I'm not going to hurt it with that. But like, I didn't like the whole landlord situation when he's like playing with poker with his friends and he steals the $20 that Aunt May gave him.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's useless scenes, Or, hey, Peter, you want some chocolate milk? And then you want some chocolate cake? Some milk and some milk. And then she's watching him eat it. And I was like, what was the point of this? Like, it was freaky deaky. Like, it was just weird. Like, but that was weird scenes. But everything worked very well. His downtimes, he had, you could see how, and I remember you said a quote last week where you said that Spider-Man organic version of Spider-Man, there was no threat level because, of course, he always has his webs in him. But in this one, he lost it. All his emotions and everything kind of hurt him. So with that, I was like, I thought that was cool. But again, this is I think the part 3 wasn't that. It was the stupid suit that was messing with him. But I like that in this movie. I thought it worked. I said, you know what? I like that emotionally he loses his ability because he's mind fucking himself. Like, oh my God, so much stress, Aunt May and work with the pizza delivery serving, which I thought was hilarious in the beginning. But I thought it worked, to be honest with you. So I gave it a 5. I was toggling between the two, and I thought it was a 5 would fit perfect because, again, you're right. The villainy between Willem Dafoe and my man Doc Ock here, they both were great villains. But I think Doc Ock had more of a lovable story because you love them as a human. And then when he turns evil, you're going, oh, damn. Like
him with the wife, with his wife.
Yeah, she got hit with the freaking glass in her throat. I mean, imagination really, her head would have got chopped off. When you saw the glass
going.
Dafoe
was pretty much just like a rich single dad
douche
who was wanted for power. Like, he was just a bad guy. This guy was not and got turned into a bad guy. So it's more sympathetic.
Yeah, he was a douche. He's just a douche. He was. And I love the love story between him and his wife. I think that's what worked. He was happy because of this and that. And then when his mind just started to lose itself and into the experiment, that he just forgot about his wife. And that's when the glass breaks. And I was like, oh, snap. But I thought it worked. I thought it was pretty cool. But and Harry too. Let's not forget about Harry, because Harry started to get his obsession with Spider-Man is starting to kick in this movie also. You know, and he slapped the shit out of my man in the party, bro. I said, y'all hold it back, bro. Like, first of all, I don't know about you. This is the only nitpick I got, right? This is my only nitpick, right? If I slap the shit out of you, right? And you got spider senses, wouldn't you sense me slapping the shit out of you? Like, my hand is going to be coming to slap the shit out of you? Like,
Probably.
right?
Probably.
Like, because I was
But
like,
maybe he just didn't react to it because he didn't want to give off, any clues that he could have any abilities.
After the second bitch slap, you gotta be like, my man, hold back, like, relax.
It didn't hurt him. He fell off a freaking building and lived. It didn't even hurt him. He didn't feel
I'll be like, my man, relax, back off, bro. You're about to remember what I did to Flash when I punched him. You don't want to get to see the
He's got to be a
result.
nerd. He's got to keep up the facade.
Yeah, he bitch slapped him. He's like, your friend Spider-Man, and then slapped him once.
That's true. You're right.
He bitch slapped that shit in a party. Nah, man, not me. Not me. Oh, hell no, bro. Like, we best friends, but you gotta relax with that loose hand. Lucy there. That champagne, you get a little loose. But he bitch slapped him though. He said, whack.
Harry gave him the old what for?
Yeah, he did. Anyway, what is your overall?
So here's where it comes, okay? All this positive energy. And I love this movie. I do. It's still not a 10 for me, which means it's still not a 5 for me. Sorry. It's a 4.5, a 9 out of 10. I do think it's great. I do have some issues, though. I'm glad you kind of touched on it a little bit so I can piggyback. So I like the subplots and I like the storyline. But to me, I do think that could have been trimmed. And a lot of what could have been trimmed to me was like, okay, we're taking Peter and we're really putting him in a situation where he's kind of, down low. But I do think at times they overdid it with the how much, like, okay, he gets $20 from Aunt May for his birthday and the guy takes it. And then then he gets fired. Then he's failing his class. Then he can't even make it to a play on time. Then he can't. And it's like, there's one or two of these things that you could have not. We get it. You didn't need to do it. And then it keeps happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like it goes on for until he decides not to be Spider-Man anymore. Every single bad thing happens that could happen. When he goes to the party, he can't even get he can't get an hors d'oeuvre. He can't get a drink. He can't get and it comes to a point where it's like, Sam, we get it. We get it. Times are tough for Peter. You know what I mean?
Times are tough.
Times are tough. But I don't need 1,000 examples. So some of those things, they always kind of irked me about this movie. It's like, you don't have to overdo it with the whole, look at what's happening to him. Look what's happening to him. Yeah, I know. I got it. So that's a little nitpicky for me, but also it does affect the movie because I think they could have trimmed a good 10 or 15 minutes off by taking some of that stuff out. I agree with you. I think the landlord thing adds nothing to the movie. And I know he's in part 3 and so is the girl, but they almost make it like Peter and her are going to have some sort of little, like, you could tell she got a crush on him, but they almost make it like, oh, there might be a little, and there's nothing. He likes MJ the whole time. There's no, when he eats the cake and the milk, you think, oh, maybe they'll talk. There's no conversation. She's just sitting there watching him and then he's done. And then it's over. So things like that kind of, they do take off because it's not as tight. If those things were not in this, it'd probably be a 10. Like, it would be perfection. But I do have those little bit of gripes. And other than that, though, it's still a 9 out of 10. It's not a perfect for me, but I do enjoy it. So 4.5 is my overall.
Yeah, look, for me, it's a 4.5 also. I don't think it's a perfect movie because, like, again, I'm not going to hurt it with time because time is not the issue here. The issue are the scenes in the movie that did not work for me. And it's not about the time. It's like, again, the landlord did not work for me at all. Stuff with Harry was a little annoying at times. I was like, okay, I get it. You don't like Spider-Man.
J. Jonah Jameson. Like, a lot of stuff with him. Like,
yeah.
Hey, why so much?
I don't get
He's
it.
comic relief. Yeah.
It worked for a bit, but it was just like, hey, Parker, I'll give you $300. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. You play him. Awesome, fun, but you're right. It's Elizabeth Banks is in the movie. I mean, she's back as the what's her name?
Secretary,
which gets replaced by Ron Howard's daughter, right? Bree or whatever her name is.
No, Bryce Dallas Howard. She plays Gwen Stacy in the third one.
That's what I mean. She gets replaced, right? Because Elizabeth Banks is not back.
She's in part 3. Yeah,
she is
in part 3. Yeah, she's still
okay. Okay, yeah, well, there you go. It's been a while, so yeah. All right, but I will say is like I gave it a 4.5. I think overall the action was very well. I think it was enough action. I don't think it needed more. I think it was enough because I think the story delivered in this second sequel. It could be. We're gonna answer that question at the end. But like I said, 4.5. You said 4.5 total points.
Yeah, 24 out of a 25. Really, really great film. I totally agree with the critic score on this, 93. The audience is high too, but like I just think this is a great comic book movie and a great story. And I think, yeah, it's a great Spider-Man movie for sure. So yeah, it's a 24 for me.
Same as you, man. 24. I think it's a perfect. It's not a perfect, but I think it's a great sequel to the first one.
It's better than the first. I think this is a classic part 2 that's better than part 1 for me.
I will say this, and I would like to ask you, do you think this is the greatest comic book movie? Not besides, we're not putting Dark Knight and everything, in terms of the Marvel, the Spider-Mans.
I think it's the best Spider-Man movie. As far as across all Marvel, including MCU and non-MCU, I mean, I would probably put it in my top 5 for sure. I mean, I'd have to sit and think about it, but just on the spot, yeah, I do think it's that good. I'd put it in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, because, it's weird because when you talk to people, they're like, oh, it's the greatest comic book movie of all time. But then when you ask them, when you do see it. But the thing is like, it's weird because a lot of people go, oh, Dark Knight. That's the best comic book. You know what I mean? So it's
I like that movie better. So yeah, but taking, and also there's other movies that are comic book movies that are not even, like superhero movies. Right. So then you have to factor that in. And I love Sin City. That's a graphic novel. I'd put that above a lot of MCU movies for me personally. So I agree. I think when you're thinking Marvel movies, it might be the best. It could be. You could make an argument for it. I would say that much.
Yeah. All right, Nate, what's coming up next on the podcast?
All right. So you already know. Next week, we are we're cruising. We're cruising through the month with Tom. We're starting our first Tom Cruise month. And this is a great month to do it because we got 5 episodes. So 5 non-Mission Impossible Tom Cruise movies coming your way. Our first one, a first-time watch for you, Minority Report. So that's going to be our next episode. And then, of course, our first episode next week will be Spider-Man 3, the much talked about, much debated. Is it good? Is it crap? I don't know. We're going to talk about it next week, so you have to wait till then. But that's our next 2 movies coming up.
There you have it, guys. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at NateFlix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called NateFlix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/geeksandflix for the video version of the podcast, or head over to our official website to geeksandflix.com where we have all the podcasts at your disposal from audio to video. The video is still being added weekly, so check out for your favorite episodes if you don't see the video version there. And of course, we have merchandise, Action Movie Guys merchandise, and Geeks and Flicks merchandise. All the money will go back into the show and the live shows that we do every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to be part of the Patreon and watch the behind the scenes of your favorite episodes, all you got to do is go to geeksandflix.com and subscribe there. Other than that, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and my co-host is
Nate from NateFlix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.